Ethan Parker had just transferred to a new school, hoping for a fresh start. The hallways were filled with students chatting loudly, their voices full of excitement. Ethan walked slowly, carefully observing everything around him. He was quiet, mysterious, the kind of student who blended into the background. But on this day, blending in was not an option. Across the busy corridor stood Kyle Richards, the school's infamous bully, feared by everyone. Kyle's cold eyes landed on Ethan, sizing him up immediately. A cruel, menacing smile formed on Kyle's face. To him, Ethan seemed weak, an easy target, perfect for tormenting. But Kyle had no idea he was making the biggest mistake of his life. Ethan was not just some shy new kid. He was an unstoppable fighter with a dark, dangerous past. He had come here hoping to leave violence behind, but he was ready to fight if pushed too far. One confrontation was all it would take. Soon the entire school would witness a showdown they would never forget, learning a powerful lesson that appearances could be deceiving. And Ethan, quiet and mysterious, would shock everyone with the truth of who he really was. Ethan stepped through the doors of his new school. For the first time, he walked quietly, keeping his head down. Other students talked and laughed loudly around him. Ethan felt like an outsider, different from everyone else. His quiet nature made him stand out even more. Across the hall, Kyle Richards stood with his gang. They were known as troublemakers, bullies who made life miserable for others. Kyle's eyes caught sight of Ethan, and instantly, he smiled cruelly. "Look at that loser," Kyle whispered loudly to his friends. They laughed, making cruel jokes about Ethan's clothes and quiet manner. Ethan heard every word, but said nothing. He just wanted to avoid trouble, but trouble found him anyway. Kyle walked towards Ethan, pretending not to see him. He bumped Ethan hard on purpose, knocking him into a locker. "Oh, my bad," Kyle said loudly, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Did not see you there, new kid." Ethan looked up, meeting Kyle's cold eyes. He took a deep breath and simply said, "Sorry," in a quiet voice. Kyle laughed loudly, turning to his friends. "Did you hear that? He is apologizing to me." Everyone around started to laugh at Ethan, making him feel even more uncomfortable. Ethan kept silent, avoiding any further conflict. He just wanted peace. But deep inside, something powerful was stirring, a quiet strength waiting, patiently, for the right moment. Days passed, but things only got worse for Ethan. Kyle and his gang never left him alone. They mocked him loudly in class, making fun of his answers. They tripped him in hallways, making him drop his books. Cruel rumors spread, saying Ethan was weak, scared, and easy to pick on. But Ethan, he endured it all in silence. He showed no anger, never fighting back. Students watched quietly, feeling sorry for him, but too scared to help. Ethan's silence only made Kyle angrier, pushing him to torment Ethan even more. One afternoon, after a particularly cruel class, Ethan sat alone in the library. Emma, a kind and sympathetic classmate, approached him carefully. "Ethan," she said softly, "you do not have to take this. You should report Kyle to the teachers." Ethan looked at her with sad eyes. "Thanks, Emma, but I do not want any trouble." Emma looked confused. "But Kyle is hurting you. It's not fair." Ethan hesitated, looking away. "You do not understand. I just want peace. If I report him, it will only get worse." Emma sighed, worried. "But Ethan, how long can you take this?" Ethan smiled faintly, sadness in his eyes. "As long as it takes. Fighting back. It is not always the answer." Emma felt helpless. Ethan's words hinted at something deeper, something mysterious. She could not understand why he refused to fight back, even when everyone could see how much it hurt him. What was Ethan hiding? It was lunchtime in the crowded cafeteria. Students were chatting loudly, enjoying their food. Ethan sat alone at a corner table, quietly eating his lunch. Suddenly, Kyle approached, holding a tray full of food. Without warning, he threw a handful of food at Ethan's face, laughing loudly. "Eat up, new kid," Kyle mocked cruelly. Students watched in shock, some laughing nervously. Ethan wiped his face slowly, his patience finally wearing thin. He stood up calmly, facing Kyle with a steady gaze. "Kyle," Ethan said in a low, serious voice, "stop this, before it is too late." Kyle's laughter stopped. He looked at Ethan, amused. "Are you threatening me?" he asked, arrogance dripping from his voice. "You? The shy little nobody? Ethan took a deep breath, eyes locked on Kyle. No threat, just a warning. Kyle laughed loudly, stepping closer. Or what? You will cry to the teachers? Ethan said nothing, his silence powerful, unsettling. It made Kyle angry. Without thinking, Kyle shoved Ethan hard, making him stumble backward. Students gasped, expecting a fight. But Ethan did not strike back. He controlled his anger, straightened his stance, and took a step back. His calmness was intense, like the quiet before a storm. Everyone sensed it. This was no ordinary calm. It was powerful, controlled, and dangerous. Kyle sneered, thinking he had won. See? You are nothing, he mocked. But deep down he felt uneasy. There was something different about Ethan. Something dangerous. Ethan picked up his tray quietly, walking away without another word. But everyone in the cafeteria could feel it. This was not over. Ethan's quiet strength hinted at something big coming, something they would never forget. Kyle laughed arrogantly, unaware he had crossed a dangerous line. Ethan had given him a final warning, and Kyle had ignored it. Now a storm was brewing, silent but powerful. Soon everyone would see just how mistaken Kyle was. Ethan's patience had reached its limit. The peaceful newcomer was hiding a past filled with strength and danger. He had tried to avoid conflict, but now Kyle had forced his hand. A powerful storm was coming, and nothing would ever be the same again. After school, Emma could not stop thinking about Ethan. His calm reaction to Kyle's bullying confused her. Why would he not fight back? She sensed he was hiding something important. Driven by worry, she decided to search online, hoping to understand him better. She typed Ethan's name, scanning results carefully. Suddenly her eyes widened in shock. A news article appeared with a familiar face, Ethan Parker. The headline read, "Teen Martial Arts Champion Expelled After Severe Fight." Her heart raced as she read more. Ethan had once been a top martial artist, a champion known for his strength and skill, but at his last school he had severely injured a bully in self-defense, leading to his expulsion. Emma could not believe it. Quiet, shy Ethan was actually a fighter, a powerful one. No wonder he avoided conflict. He feared his own strength. Emma knew she had to talk to him. Later that evening, she found Ethan sitting alone near the school park, staring quietly into space. "Ethan," she approached carefully, "I need to talk to you." Ethan looked up, startled. "What is wrong, Emma?" She hesitated, then said softly, "I know about your past. The fight. The martial arts." Ethan froze, his eyes darkening with pain. "How?" "I found it online," Emma said gently. "Why did you not tell anyone? Why do you let Kyle hurt you?" Ethan sighed deeply, eyes filling with sadness. "Emma, you do not understand. Violence ruined my life once. I promised myself I would never fight again." Emma felt his pain deeply. "But Ethan, Kyle will not stop. He will keep hurting you." Ethan's eyes filled with emotion. "I know, but if I fight back, I risk losing control again. Last time someone was seriously hurt. I will not let that happen again." Emma felt tears forming, seeing Ethan's deep struggle. She finally understood why he had stayed silent, endured so much pain. He was not weak. He was strong, protecting others even at his own expense. "I am sorry," she whispered softly. "I had no idea." Ethan smiled faintly, his voice gentle but determined. "It is okay. Just promise me, Emma. Do not tell anyone else. I just want peace." Emma nodded, deeply moved by Ethan's strength and self-control. But she feared what would happen if Kyle pushed him too far. She could see Ethan was at his limit. His hidden past was powerful, and she worried it would soon be revealed to everyone. The next morning, tension filled the school. Word spread that something big might happen. Ethan walked quietly, feeling the heavy weight of everyone's stares. Kyle was waiting for him, leaning against the lockers, a dangerous smile on his face. "You thought yesterday was bad?" Kyle sneered, stepping in front of Ethan, blocking his path. "Today will be worse." Ethan met Kyle's eyes steadily, calm but firm. "Kyle, please, stop this. I do not want trouble." Kyle laughed mockingly. "Trouble? You are already in trouble, Parker, and today I am going to make you pay for talking back." Students gathered quickly, sensing something major about to happen. Ethan stood his ground, eyes locked on Kyle, a hint of sadness in them. "I am warning you one last time," Ethan said quietly, voice full of quiet power. Stop this. Now. Kyle laughed louder, enjoying the attention. Or what, Ethan? What will you do? Cry? You cannot fight. You are weak. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling his patience slipping away. His calm nature shifted, eyes suddenly intense and focused. Everyone saw it. The quiet kid was changing, becoming dangerous, like a storm ready to explode. Kyle stepped closer, shoving Ethan roughly. Come on! Fight back, coward! Ethan's voice grew colder, eyes dark with warning. Kyle, do not force me to do this. Kyle mocked him, fists raised, ready to strike. Too late. You are finished. Ethan's calmness vanished, replaced by intense focus. His whole body seemed different, ready, powerful. Students watched, holding their breath, realizing something huge was about to happen. Emma stood nearby. Scared but hopeful Ethan would finally stand up for himself. Ethan's eyes never left Kyle, his words quiet but powerful. You have been warned. Kyle sneered arrogantly, unaware he had finally pushed Ethan too far. The peaceful student had vanished. In his place stood a fighter, calm but deadly, ready for whatever came next. Without warning, Kyle lunged at Ethan, fists flying. Everyone gasped, expecting Ethan to fall easily. But Ethan moved swiftly, expertly blocking Kyle's punch. The crowd gasped louder, shocked by Ethan's unexpected skill. Kyle looked stunned, attacking again, more fiercely. But Ethan moved smoothly, dodging every hit. His movements were graceful, powerful, controlled. This was no ordinary fight. Ethan was clearly a master fighter. Students pulled out their phones, recording in awe. Finally, Ethan struck back, not aggressively, but precisely, hitting Kyle's arm and legs just enough to unbalance him. Kyle stumbled, falling heavily to the ground, breathing hard. Ethan stood calmly above him, not even breathing heavily. Kyle looked up, humiliated and angry. What are you? He gasped, confused. Ethan spoke quietly, eyes firm but not hateful. I warned you, I did not want this, but I will not tolerate bullying anymore. Kyle struggled to stand, but his legs gave way. Students watched in silent shock. Ethan had defeated the bully effortlessly, showing incredible skill without seriously hurting Kyle. Ethan's words echoed through the hallway. Everyone understood now. He was not weak, but incredibly strong. Emma stood proudly, relieved. Ethan had finally revealed his true self, powerful yet controlled. He had fought back without losing control, showing everyone the meaning of true strength and discipline. Ethan turned to the crowd, speaking calmly but powerfully. This ends now. No more bullying. Not to me, not to anyone. Understand? Students nodded, deeply moved and respectful. Ethan had transformed from a quiet outsider into a hero in their eyes. He was strong, disciplined, and had used his power responsibly. Kyle lay defeated, finally facing the consequences of his actions. Ethan walked away quietly, leaving the stunned crowd behind. Everyone knew the school had changed forever. Ethan's revelation had shocked them all, delivering a powerful lesson. Never judge someone by appearances and never mistake kindness for weakness. The quiet storm had passed, leaving everyone humbled, inspired, and forever changed. Ethan had won not just a fight, but everyone's respect. His peaceful nature had masked incredible strength, teaching the entire school a lesson they would never forget. Within hours, the video of Ethan's confrontation with Kyle spread rapidly across the entire school. Everyone had seen it. Ethan, quiet and mysterious, expertly defeating Kyle, the ruthless bully. Students watched in shock and awe, replaying the footage again and again. Ethan had become an instant hero, especially to those who had suffered from bullying in silence. The bullies, meanwhile, were terrified. They now understood that quiet students could hide immense strength. Ethan had shown everyone that real strength was not loud or aggressive. It was calm, disciplined, and powerful. But the attention quickly brought problems. Teachers called Ethan to the office for questioning, worried about violence in school. Ethan sat calmly before them, eyes serious but honest. Ethan, the principal began firmly. What happened today was serious. Fighting is not acceptable. Ethan looked up, speaking quietly but clearly. I know, sir. I never wanted this to happen. Then why did it? Another teacher asked, concern in her voice. Ethan took a deep breath. Kyle has bullied me for weeks. He has bullied many others too. I tried to avoid conflict, I never wanted to fight, but today, he left me no choice. The principal studied Ethan carefully. Your skills, they are impressive. Where did you learn to fight like that? Ethan sighed softly. Martial arts. I was once a champion, but I stopped fighting after a serious incident at my last school. Someone got badly hurt. I promised myself never again. The teachers listened intently, understanding now why Ethan had always stayed silent. His words were sincere, emotional, and truthful. I did not hurt Kyle badly, Ethan explained carefully. I used just enough force to stop him. I wanted to teach him a lesson, not harm him. The teachers looked at each other, finally understanding. We believe you, Ethan, the principal said firmly. But this cannot happen again. Next time, please come to us first. Ethan nodded respectfully. Yes, sir. Outside the office, Ethan's peers waited anxiously. When Ethan stepped out, they cheered loudly, applauding his bravery. Emma stood close, eyes filled with pride and admiration. You did it, Ethan, she said warmly. You stood up for everyone who has ever been bullied. Ethan smiled gently, feeling deeply moved. I just wanted it to stop. Just then, news spread. Kyle had been suspended, his reputation destroyed. The entire school was talking about bullying, violence, and standing up for oneself. Ethan had sparked a powerful school-wide conversation about the moral complexity of fighting back. Teachers and students debated whether Ethan's actions were right or wrong, but everyone agreed on one thing. Bullying had to stop. Students who had been bullied quietly thanked Ethan, inspired by his courage. Bullies felt a deep sense of fear, realizing they could no longer torment others without consequences. Ethan's actions had changed the school forever, sparking deep emotional transformation and newfound empathy among students and teachers alike. Emma stayed by Ethan's side, offering support and friendship. You made a difference, Ethan, she whispered softly. Everyone sees it now. Ethan felt a deep sense of relief, pride, and sadness all at once. He had never wanted to fight again, but he knew this time it had been necessary. His strength had brought change, justice, and awareness. Finally, the school was waking up to the harsh reality of bullying, thanks to Ethan's bravery and restraint. Weeks passed and things gradually changed at the school. Ethan was no longer feared but deeply respected. His calm strength had earned him admiration, not only from students but also teachers. The atmosphere in the school improved dramatically. Students now stood together against bullying, realizing that unity and support were their greatest strengths. Ethan, determined to turn his painful past into something positive, approached the principal with an idea. I want to start a self-defense club, Ethan explained gently. Not to encourage fighting, but to help students protect themselves without aggression. The principal smiled, impressed by Ethan's maturity. That is an excellent idea, Ethan. You have my full support. The club quickly became popular. Bullied students joined eagerly, learning skills to defend themselves responsibly. Ethan taught them not just martial arts, but discipline, control, and respect. He emphasized repeatedly that true strength was never about violence. It was about knowing when and how to stand up for oneself. Emma joined too, becoming Ethan's closest friend and strongest supporter. They bonded deeply, sharing their thoughts, fears, and dreams. Ethan trusted Emma fully, grateful for her kindness and understanding. She was proud of Ethan's transformation, seeing how he had turned his painful past into a powerful force for good. One afternoon, after a successful self-defense class, Emma and Ethan sat together outside, watching students laughing and practicing together. Look at them, Emma said softly. You changed their lives, Ethan. You made this happen. Ethan smiled gently, feeling genuine peace for the first time. I only wanted them to feel safe, to never go through what I did. Emma looked at him thoughtfully. Do you feel better now? About your past? Ethan paused, reflecting deeply. Yes, he finally said. I thought my past was something to hide, something painful. But now, I see it differently. My past gave me strength, taught me discipline. If I can help others, then maybe it was all worth it. Emma squeezed his hand gently, eyes warm with admiration. You are amazing, Ethan. Never forget that. Ethan smiled softly, feeling deeply touched. He looked around at the peaceful, united students, seeing a new beginning for everyone. The school environment was healthier, stronger, more united than ever before. Students stood together, no longer divided by fear or intimidation. Ethan's quiet strength had inspired everyone, turning the school into a better, safer place. As he watched students practicing together, Ethan realized he had found acceptance, not just from others, but from himself. His painful past no longer haunted him. It had been redeemed, transformed into something beautiful and powerful. Ethan stood slowly, addressing the club members firmly. "Remember," he said clearly, "strength is never about hurting others. It is about protecting yourself and standing up for what is right. Use what you have learned wisely." The students nodded respectfully, inspired by Ethan's words and actions. Emma smiled proudly, standing beside him. Ethan felt deeply grateful for her support, knowing he had made a true friend for life. As the sun set softly over the school, Ethan felt deep peace and satisfaction. His journey had been long, painful, and difficult, but finally he had found redemption and resolution. His quiet strength had taught everyone an unforgettable lesson. True strength comes from within, rooted in discipline, control, and compassion. Ethan had turned pain into purpose, fear into courage, and isolation into unity. He had changed the school, changed himself, and found acceptance in the process. Now, he faced the future with confidence, knowing he had made a real difference. Emma looked at Ethan, smiling warmly. "Ready to go?" Ethan smiled back, feeling deeply content. "Yes," he said softly, "ready for anything." Together they walked away, leaving behind a school forever changed by one quiet, brave student who had shown everyone the true meaning of strength, courage, and redemption. Ending hook. Reflection. In the school gym, Ethan stood calmly, leading his self-defense class. Around him, students smiled, practicing confidently, feeling empowered, and finally safe. The atmosphere was filled with strength, unity, and hope. Watching them, Ethan felt proud. His journey had been hard, from silent victim to powerful protector. He had faced violence, bullying, and pain, but now he understood his purpose. His strength was not in fighting, but in choosing when not to fight. Everyone had learned a powerful lesson through Ethan. True strength does not come from fists, but from the heart. Bullies had learned this lesson in the hardest way possible, that sometimes the quietest people hold the greatest power. Ethan Parker had become unstoppable, not because of his skills in martial arts, but because of his integrity, courage, and compassion. He had taught everyone the real meaning of strength and the importance of standing up for what is right. As the class ended, students thanked Ethan warmly, grateful and inspired. Ethan smiled gently, feeling deep peace and fulfillment. His painful past was finally redeemed, teaching everyone a truth they would never forget. Real strength comes from within.